and welcome to TSP Weekly. This is your tech startup podcast for Monday, May the 4th, 2015. And today we are recording at the wonderful Velocity Foundry. We're in the furnace room. Is this the furnace room?
I think so.
I think it feels a little warm, so let's say it's the furnace room.
That's just my new cologne.
Yeah. Is that a joke about you being hot? Or?
Thank you. You got it.
Okay.
Yeah, it has an effect on everybody.
I'm sweaty and nervous.
Let's do some introductions here. My name is Darren Conley. I'm a local tech entrepreneur here in Kitchener-Waterloo. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, fellow tech entrepreneur, Stephen Campbell. How are you today, Stephen?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening.
What's that from? Isn't that
It's from me. I just said it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Just from your head.
I'm probably not the first one to ever say those three things
From
together.
that Jimmy Carrey movie, right?
Yeah, the Jim Carrey. Yeah, it was the Truman Show.
Yeah, the Truman Show.
It was a variation. I think.
I'll send him a couple dollars.
Yes, that's right.
We're recording at 7 o'clock in the evening tonight.
Yeah, this isn't typical of us.
This is awesome.
Yeah, usually we record early in the day, and but it is nice to do an evening recording now and then.
What time do you turn into a pumpkin at?
You don't want to know about my pumpkin history.
Better make this quick.
We have time. Yeah, you don't want to see it, guys.
It's true.
Happened once before.
All right, well, let's introduce our guests. Joining us today, we have, and I hope I'm pronouncing these names right, but I'll hear it if I don't, Mr. Darius Guy.
Yep.
And Mr. Tristan Lehari.
Good enough.
How would you say it?
No, Lehari is pretty good. I usually say Lehari, but either or.
Lehari. Okay, fair enough. They're joining us from TritonWear, and we are very excited to have them. I've seen them around town for many months now, and now we finally get to see what they're actually doing at TritonWear. So great to have you guys here. We get to dip our toe
into the pool, finally.
Yeah, so to speak, yes. There's a hint of what their product is all about.
I have no idea what you're
Coming up
about.
soon.
Yes, excellent. So, guys, tell us. Well, first of all, are you co-founders? Are both of you been there from the beginning? Yeah. What are your actual titles?
So why don't you start, Tristan?
I am co-founder and CEO.
And I am co-founder and CEO.
CEO,
It's
COO.
one letter difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very complicated and confusing.
Excellent. Okay, and what is TritonWear? I don't know which one of you guys want to take this, but
for sure.
Just give us the 1 minute kind of pitch.
The spiel, for sure. Yeah, so at TritonWear, we're developing wearable technology that effectively enables better coaching so that coaches can create superior athletes.
Okay.
So what we've done is we've created a small, non-invasive unit that hooks onto a swimmer's goggle strap that automatically calculates a dozen key performance metrics and then sends that data in real time to a coach's tablet for every athlete in the pool. Basically, coaching is a bit inefficient these days, and they're trying to keep track of 20-plus athletes in the water with a dozen performance metrics per athlete, and we're trying to automate that process so they can spend more time acting on the data instead of wasting their time calculating that data.
Excellent.
Sweet, so he's counting breaststrokes.
I have done that.
In an automated fashion, yeah.
Automatically, yeah. I always get mixed up when I'm doing breaststroke.
Fair enough. And so unlike a lot of other people who are developing kind of fitness-based wearables, yours is not something you just attach to your arm to measure how many steps you've taken that day or how high your heart rate is when you're doing a workout, but it's exclusively for people in the swimming category.
Exactly. Yeah, we're focusing specifically on competitive swimming right now. Ultimately, we're not trying to make up metrics that people don't know how to use. We're creating metrics that coaches use on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
So things like split times, distance per stroke, stroke rate, turn time, distance underwater, a dozen key performance metrics that coaches are always keeping track of with their athletes.
Yeah, and you say it attaches to the goggle, so I guess that's like the back of the swimmer's head?
Exactly.
Okay.
The idea is that in swimming, ultimately an athlete won't wear anything on their body if it causes additional drag or discomfort.
Yeah, and that's what I was wondering about. I mean, so it won't actually affect anything to have it there?
For sure. They don't even notice it on their head. So basically, a tiny little unit hooked onto their goggle strap, can be worn under their cap. Don't even see it there.
And it looks very sleek, like it's been designed to be aerodynamic. I guess it's not aerodynamic.
Streamlined.
Streamlined.
Yes,
Hydrodynamic.
Here's the terminology.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
there we go.
So it looks really cool. Yeah, it's very small. It looks about the size of a loonie, maybe, a toonie.
A little bit bigger, but...
Yeah?
Yeah,
right?
it's about to go for a big redesign as we go up towards launch, and it's going to get even smaller and more streamlined. So,
Wow.
yeah, there you go.
Version 2.0.
Yeah.
Version 1.0,
Yeah,
market ready.
Market ready.
Product.
Cool.
Market ready. So you say that it sends the metrics to the coach, and how is the coach tracking this data? They have
Today?
like an app of some sort?
Exactly, yeah. So it gets actually what it does, because sometimes they'll have even 50 swimmers in the water. So it communicates to a little hub that we've designed that then communicates Bluetooth to the coach's tablet.
Okay, so you have the devices on the swimmers. You have a separate piece of hardware that's somewhere in
the pool vicinity,
the pool area,
anywhere.
yeah? Okay, and then a tablet that all of that data is being fed to that they can track in real time?
Exactly. So they have a dashboard that has all their different swimmers. Right now we have have it in a few different view options like tile view or a list view. And then if they want to dive into a little bit more detail on their individual swimmers, they can click on their swimmer and see exactly how they're progressing through an individual set, or dive in as deep as they like to see the highest resolution they want in terms of the metrics per length.
I like that you said dive in as deep as they like.
Hey, gotta promote.
Use the words. Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. So then, is it tracking the metrics over the history of each individual swimmer? Then, like, can the coach see how a swimmer has developed over the past year or two or three?
Exactly. Yeah. The idea is that after the workout's over, all that data gets uploaded to the cloud and synced with each swimmer's respective profile, which now allows for long-term tracking and analytics over the course of the season, which has never existed before in the sport.
Sure.
Yeah, it used to be just try harder, right? Or swim faster.
Yeah.
But now it's like
you're not swimming hard enough.
Yeah. On
That's why you're
Wednesdays,
slow.
you only have 700 strokes. You should have 703. What's wrong?
Right. Okay, that's cool. And now, this device then, is it something that the individual swimmers would purchase for themselves, or is this something where the coaches or the institution where they're participating in would purchase a set, or how does that work?
Yeah, no, ultimately we're a B2B, so we sell directly to coaches and to teams. So we sell both hardware and software. So the idea is that a coach can say, I only ever have 30 swimmers in the water at one time, so they'll buy 30 units for the team. But then they'll say, okay, well, I do have 150 swimmers on the team, so they'll buy 150 user profiles then for that system to work. And we have different user profiles for different levels of athletes, which allows all those swimmers to use those devices and kind of offsets the cost. Some of it goes to the team, and then some of that cost gets pushed down to the swimmer.
Okay.
So how do you prove to somebody that it works?
Yeah.
So we actually go down and we have multiple stages in the sales process. So we show them an online demo where we have a really cool page where they can see a video of a swimmer in motion and they can interact with the screen that essentially represents the app. So you actually see it in the mobile format, interact with it. And if that stage goes well, we actually go down and do an in-person demo, show them the product works, have their own swimmers wear it. That's really how we got most of our traction going into our pre-sales and beta launch. Was we actually went to Swim Ontario's what was it? The provincial championships. Provincial championships, and had our units on the warm-up pool, and had all the coaches come up and try it on their own swimmers. So we, aren't pulling any tricks on you. This is the actual data. Had coaches on deck with a stopwatch calculating the metrics and ensuring that we matched up to it. So
it almost seems to me like there's a couple things that are a benefit to the coach. One, that they can, first of all, know what the heck's going on a little better. When you have 50 swimmers in the pool, that's just overwhelming. Like, I coached some minor league soccer, or not even minor league. It was my son's soccer team. So, and that, there's a lot of kids. There's a lot of stuff happening at once, right? Yeah. So it would help them just be more organized and more in tune. But also, there's a competitive edge. Like, are they able to win more with it, or?
It's interesting. Well, there's different edges to it. Ultimately, I mean, they're hoping that it'll result in that. But sometimes the first purchase is because they want a competitive advantage for bringing new recruits onto the team. They want to show that they're innovative in the sport. But it's also just a way that they know that they can, be fair to all their athletes and be able to spend enough time with each of their athletes' data.
Right.
Because sometimes there's just not enough time in the workout. You have 2 hours on deck and you got 20, 30 athletes in the water. There's no way you're going to spend an equal amount of time with everybody. Or if you do, you're not spending much time with everybody.
Right. Well, that was a lot of my time was spent just making sure everybody had equal playing time.
Right.
And that wasn't even quality time. It was just making sure every kid got on the field at the same time. So that, if there was something to help me with that, that would have been a huge asset, because then I could have focused my skills in other areas.
Exactly. They can then focus on making their athletes, in our case, faster.
Sure.
Right.
Are there ways for the individual athletes to access their own data, just to kind of self-track some of that stuff too?
Yep. So once the data is on the tablet, the next step, like Tristan said, it goes all onto the cloud, and then any of the swimmers can log into their own portal and see the data they had for the day, depending on how the coach sets it up. So the coach is the admin, if you will, of all the data that comes in, and he can decide whether he wants to generate reports ad hoc and share it with the users, or if he wants to enable all access for the users, or limited access, or what have you.
And is there some kind of learning curve for the coaches then? Like, I'm guessing swimming coaches are not necessarily being hired for their tech abilities as much as their coaching abilities. So how easy is it for coaches to kind of get up to speed on using the system?
So and that's a huge part of our beta program, and working on the UX and UI and ensuring that it's easy to use, that everyone understands immediately what to do when they are using the app. So for example, we have mobile tours and FAQs, and once they get on the web app, we have the same experience and try to keep it similar to the mobile app, so they're not seeing a lot of different stuff. And just adhering to good design and getting their feedback into this iterative process.
Sure.
How did you guys focus on swimming? Are you guys swimmers yourselves, or
Yeah.
was that just a blue ocean that needed to have a pirate ship sail through it?
Yeah, well,
or-
we always wanted to be pirates, so that did come about. But I swam varsity while I was at Waterloo. I was the captain there for a couple of years while Darius and I were in mechatronics together. So it was a great way to tie in both mechatronics and swimming together.
So you got awesome pecs then.
I used to.
That's what you call them.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I call them anything. Actually.
I want to just ask, sorry to get a little more on the technical side, but just about
You're getting off of pecs?
Yeah, sorry, man.
Why would you ever do that?
I've been staring at his pecs all podcast already, so I got to get off of them. Yeah, like just from the power side. So how long can somebody use one of your devices before it's discharged? And how easy is it to recharge? Is this something you have to plug in every night, or
Can we swim the English Channel?
So
Yeah.
that's a really
That's
good
one of those.
question. So the units as well as the hub, and I should mention the hub is battery powered and it's a really small unit, so you can move it around the pool and put it wherever you want, and then take it to new pools if you wish as well.
Okay.
It's not something that's just stationary and fixed.
Okay.
And so for the units right now, it's like we said, we're still in the middle of the development process and trying to fine tune. Right now, we can do about 8 hours on
Okay.
the nodes, so like the units the swimmers are wearing.
Right.
And on the hub, it should be up to it should be on the order of days continuous usage on that.
Okay.
And that's with the radios transmitting continuously on both devices.
Okay, so unless you actually are swimming the English Channel or something like at that level,
Yeah.
there shouldn't be any issues.
Shouldn't be any issues.
Yeah, we're basically trying to get it so that the coach can have it on, if he goes with the plan where he has one hardware unit and multiple swimmers, and he's sharing it among swimmers, he can use it for all of his practices throughout the day,
Sure.
and then charge it at night. And to answer the last part, it charges over micro USB. You just plug it in
Okay.
to a wall charger, and it's good to go.
And maybe it's a stupid question. I'm assuming everything is waterproof, right? So
Yes.
They're better than water resistant.
Oh, I knew we forgot
I
something.
would just be
Waterproof.
afraid.
Oh no.
I could just see like a little bit getting into a terminal somewhere and somebody getting their head fried as they're doing their
Coaches ask for
their
that
breaststroke,
actually.
yeah.
They want a taser built into the device so that they can keep their swimmers going.
Faster.
Were we allowed
Mush.
to mention that? Should we be?
A little prod, they can just like
It's on the V2.
Hard to get that certified.
No,
Yeah.
but it's completely waterproof. We've spent a lot of time looking at different techniques
Yeah.
to waterproof the devices, and I'm finally settled on one that we think is working well and has the least failure rate.
Okay, good. And did you guys beta test them yourselves? Like, did
Yeah.
you go
So
yeah.
so we initially test all the devices ourselves to make sure everything's working.
Yep.
We waterproof test them. We test them for functionality and range,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have the beta testing program that's currently ongoing with multiple teams in the Southern Ontario region that is helping validate the technology, the algorithms, and the entire stack.
But ultimately, we've been in the water for over 10 months now, testing this with real competitive swimmers in the region. Testing with lots of different athletes at different levels, which has been great for us.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah.
I noticed you guys
Yeah.
at the beginning were very political and very smart about talking about a device for athletes.
Yeah.
You didn't say swimmers.
Yeah.
So there, I assume, is a vision to bring this to football players and disc golfers like myself.
Or could there be? I
And-
mean,
or could there
you've
be?
called
Professional
yourself
weightlifters.
TritonWear, though. Like, Triton is very much an aquatic
Yeah. So what's the
right?
vision? Are you guys going to try to
Yeah.
do something like that?
Triton
or-
shows where we came from, but it's still a powerful name that can be used across multiple sports. So today we're in swimming. We do plan to expand it to other race-based verticals. So basically any sport that has a finish line or velocity at the end of it, that's kind of our target market. And we
Okay, a
do plan to.
race-based vertical.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go. Now, what about something like water polo, where you're not like,
Racing.
It's not like a steady thing, but maybe
Yeah.
you want to track like. I don't know.
That's a little bit out of what we're doing.
Oh, okay, fair
Our
enough.
race-based vertical, it's based on coaches interacting with an athlete that has specific performance metrics that takes them across the finish line.
Sure.
So it's a little bit different when you start talking about teams,
Right.
But
Yeah,
who
it's
knows?
just a different value proposition, and it's something that there's nothing holding us back from approaching it. It would
Yeah.
be a longer transition cycle from, like, one of the good things about approaching other sports when we do decide to go to other sports is we've started building the system both from the hardware and software to be completely modular. So you'd be able to move it to other verticals with as little modification as possible.
Sure.
And if we start looking into non-race-based verticals, there's a little bit of a steeper curve rather
Yes.
than that, and that's really the
Sure.
driver.
But you guys have a good head start if you ever do decide to jump into that side of
Yeah,
things,
for
right?
sure.
For sure, yeah.
Very cool. Well, listen, we want to find out a little bit of the history of how you guys came to start this. Before we do that, maybe we should just take a quick break for our sponsor. We got to find a good place to put in our sponsor thing, but I think maybe this is a good time before.
This is a good time. They're always front and foremost in my heart and mind.
That's right. And we have a new spot for our sponsor that we have. One of our, do we want to mention?
Sure, let's talk about Melinda a little bit. Melinda Norris.
Yes, so Melinda is an old friend of Stephen who is doing an audio production program at Conestoga College and has very kindly volunteered her time to put together some excellent audio material for us for our promotional spots. So she put one together for us, which I think sounds better than anything we've done so far. So we'll run that for you now, and you can check it out.
Yeah, tell us what you think.
I actually left Igloo for a while and came back because you get the sense of family, the sense of working as a team.
It's a really inspiring place to work. People can be who they are when they're in the building, and we're all working together for a common goal.
It gets a little crazy at times.
I have a very, very large collection of rubber ducks. My first day, out of nowhere, I just got shot by so many Nerf guns. I mean, we get beer every other Friday. There's nothing wrong with that.
You could be here for a few weeks, but if you have a great idea and we think it'll work, we'll run with it.
Where you can go forward and pursue your own dreams.
They're empowered to do their job. Our culture is all about team.
It's really great, and it's something that you kind of strive for in a company.
If you have a great idea, we're going to implement it. That's why people love working here.
Igloo! Did you get that?
All right, and we're back.
What do you think?
That was good.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that.
Yeah. So for those of you who may have forgotten during those 50 seconds we were talking about Igloo, we are still here with Mr. Darius Guy and Mr. Tristan Lehari.
Lahari. What's a few hairs between friends?
That's right. From TritonWear. So yeah, guys, tell us about how now TritonWear is the name of the company. Triton is the product. Is that right or no?
Yes, kind of. We're still deciding exactly if we want to call it two different things or if we just want to stick to TritonWear. We have been calling it the Triton unit, though.
The Triton unit, okay.
The Triton.
So tell us how the Triton unit was developed and conceived. Did it come to you in a dream one night, or while you were swimming in the pool or something?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, it came up, in my head as I was doing a master's in a completely unrelated field.
Okay.
And I just was starting to think about things that I'd like to see as a swimmer. What would I have liked, from a technology standpoint?
Right.
And ultimately, I started realizing, I really wish, as a swimmer, I'm constantly calculating my strokes. I'm grabbing my heart rate. I'm doing, getting my splits from my coach. And if I don't know those numbers and the coach asks me, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble. So
I never did any of that as a swimmer. Maybe that's why I'm not a swimmer anymore.
Were you a swimmer back in the day?
I was thrown in the pool occasionally, yeah.
Yeah, against your will.
It's always too cold, I remember.
Then based on some work I've been doing with some other inertial measurement unit stuff, accelerometers and gyros, I started to realize that based on the motion of the back of a swimmer's head, I started to think maybe I could calculate some of these metrics from that. Then kind of just came from there. Then after I finished up my master's, I ended up starting up a little proof of concept, which I just did it as a little side project to see if it would work. Then I started going quite well. The technology was working, and the algorithms made sense. And then I started talking to coaches, and then they were starting to give me great feedback on it and how big of a problem I actually was addressing in the sport. And it kind of just snowballed from there. And
wow.
Yeah.
And then where did Darius come into the mix?
Yeah, for sure. Well, Darius and I were classmates in mechatronics together.
Okay.
We graduated the 2011 class. So we'd worked together in multiple other projects. And
did you conceive of TritonWear post graduation?
Yeah. So
okay.
we graduated 2011. I went off to Europe for a couple of years and did a master's. Then came back and then kind of conceived it later in kind of late 2013, early 2014. Yeah.
Okay. And so Darius, tell us about when you stepped into this thing.
When did you cannonball into the pool?
Yeah, so I think we started talking in early February of 2014, and it was just kind of I was looking around for other ideas. I wanted to dive into entrepreneurship again after 3 years in consulting.
Okay.
And I missed working for a small company and doing my own thing. Was talking to a few people. Tristan reached out. Started discussing the idea. It started making a lot of sense. The more we talked about it, started getting more excited about it. The role each of us would play and how we would take this to market. It was just a good team, and it was a great idea, and I like the idea of moving into other sports, post swimming, and building this as a brand, and I think it could work.
So you had the vision.
Oh. And this started, you said 2014? When in 2014?
Yeah, so I joined, Tristan, I guess, it was really rolling like in early January 2014.
I guess.
And then
early January 14.
And then I joined May 2014.
Yeah, came on full time in May 2014.
Yeah, so I think to this day it's been a year.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, you should get a cake or something.
I know. I will never say no to cake.
We do not celebrate enough at our company.
That's true.
Or at least play some Portal.
So you're in the Velocity Foundry now. Where were you back? We've kind of gone up to May 2014. Were you guys already in the Foundry at that point?
Actually, we had just moved into. Actually, the Foundry didn't exist at that point.
Okay,
we were
right.
over in the Velocity garage in a kind of temporary location while they were finalizing things over here at the Foundry. So we had just moved in there. I think like end of April, early May. So kind of right when Darius was coming on board. That was a great spot to be in. Awesome environment to be working in. It's very lonely if you're doing a startup kind of by yourself in a garage, whatever. It's nice to have other people working crazy hours around you.
And how did you end up getting into the Velocity program then? Like how early stage were you at the point where they're like, come on in, we'll give you some resources? Yeah,
for sure. The thing that I think really sold it was I had a kind of proof of concept video which showed the unit, which at the time was just in a big bulky GoPro case, which had a big ugly headband and everything.
Sure.
But showed it in the water, showed how it showed the strokes through the data, and showed exactly what it would display on a very, very horrible user interface, but it showed some of the metrics coming in, and it just totally made sense. And Mike and Peter, at the time they just got it, and it went from there.
And did you build this yourself, like the software, the hardware? Was it all you from the start, and then you started growing the team after?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was obviously fairly rudimentary and pretty basic stuff at the time, but started there, and then we started growing the team to incorporate those key aspects. Darius came on board with a lot of hardware and mobile experience, so then we finally got a nice looking app at the time, which was nice, and started moving over to some custom hardware later on in the summer.
Sure.
Have you guys filed for any IPs or any
we had
patents at all?
that was another big thing that happened early 2014. We filed for a provisional patent then, and now we've got a final patent application filed as well.
What have you found that process to be like? I've heard it can be pretty tedious.
Horribly boring, but has to be done. But yes, It takes a lot of time. But it's one of those things that has to be done, and it has to be done very frugally. Otherwise, you can miss some pretty important key points.
Right. Well, yeah.
It definitely looks like a tough process. There's no guidelines or instructions. It's pretty vague.
Words of, cover something.
Wow.
And block everything else.
Yeah.
Okay, very vague.
There's no guidelines here, but you better do a good job.
But don't screw up. It could bite you in 5 years.
There's an opportunity for your new startup, Darren.
Writing patents.
Disruptive space for
I think that's what a legal
patent
firm.
app.
It sounds way too boring for me, but thank you though.
You're welcome.
So you guys have kind of said your titles, CEO and COO. What does it mean for the day to day then, as far as what you're actually doing? Like, are you writing code? Are you?
Does one guy have a whip and one guy have a carrot?
Changes day to day.
It does seem like that sometimes.
Give me the carrot today.
I think it's just transitioned so much over the last year because it's we've been moving so quickly and so fast, and we've grown from 2 people to 11 today.
Wow.
With another one on the way. So.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know.
Just
the family is growing. Yeah.
9
for
months
sure.
from now, who knows?
So it's like the roles. If you asked us today, I think it would be very different from 6 months ago.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like the bigger the team gets, the more managerial things you end up doing, the more we get pulled away on different business things, finance, accounting, legal, whatever it has to be.
Sure.
There's a lot of different things that start to grow as the company grows.
So do you find you're the guy that has to do that sometimes, right? But that's probably not your strength. So do you ever find I need to replace me?
Accounting's not so hard.
Where is it?
Accounting's not so hard. Come
Accounting's,
on. After you've done engineering.
We're going to have so many emails now, so many angry.
My dad's going to hate me. He's an accountant.
Both of our dads are accountants, so sorry, Dad.
I see.
It's so boring. How do you do this?
So do you see you have to replace yourself, or do you see as you grow that sort of growing pain, right?
So we do that, right? That's our approach to hiring is we know we're kind of hackers when we approach everything. I think you have to be when you're a small organization and you're entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So we did we always put our best foot forward and we try always take it to the max, but we are being pulled, we're wearing in so many hats.
Yeah.
It's good. You suddenly realize, okay, I need a more specialized resource in this role to take over, and that's really how we've built the company to date. Is we get into it first and get our hands dirty, and then once we know what we require from that resource, it's easier to go and hire the person.
So what would you say is kind of your area of specialty? If you were to say, like, I'm really good at this and I'd rather not do this other thing because I'm not so good at that, like for each of you.
Stuff. I mean, yeah, my specialty is more on the mechanical side, more industrial design, and more background in automation and things like that.
Yeah.
So that side's always fun to me, and I can pump it up pretty fast.
Yep.
The early days, it was kind of tinkering with everything and every aspect of it, which I'd done a master's in sustainable energy engineering and business, which was completely unrelated to mechatronics,
Right.
and had some time off. So it took some time to get back up to speed on all my programming basics and some of my old circuits basics.
Right.
I like touching all of it, but it's as we get bigger and bigger, I'm starting to love the business side of things, and everything from running the business is quite interesting at this point now.
Interesting. And what about yourself, Darius? Like, what would you say is your focus? If you could be doing just one thing, it would be this.
I think that's like a hard question to ask founders, because that's normally not what we want to do, right? Like,
have to do it all.
Yeah.
Right?
Why would I ever want to do just the one thing?
Yeah. So
right?
where's your strength at? Where's
Yeah,
your
yeah.
passion and your strength?
I think my passion is in building great products and designing great
Like
products
code?
and building.
Hardware, software?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So like for me, it was always like back in university as well. It was always a combination of the two. I was deeply into the Internet of Things, I guess, as you call it now, when it was starting off.
Yep.
And it was just like the combination of the two. We used to do a lot of physical computing stuff, and I used to teach a lot of artists and students back in university how to incorporate code and hardware into their exhibits and
Cool.
and creative designs. So it's really the amalgamation of the two, or the cross section of the two, that makes me passionate. And then it's around, I really enjoy the team aspect of it and getting together the right team in place, managing that, growing that, and taking it for rotation.
Have you found it a difficult transition to move from like dealing with code and with hardware to managing a team of 11 or 12 people, or where you guys are at now?
Not for me particularly, because that's what I was doing prior to. Like, it was actually a we're not university grads, I guess, when we started doing this. So we were 2 or 3 years into industry already.
Right.
So we had already made that transition over to, I don't know, the dark side, if you want to call it. So it wasn't. I think it was like a kind of probably a bigger challenge than going back and not like it was hard, but just getting used to
Diving into the
code again. And like,
Sure.
yeah.
At the end of the day, it's just always amazing how much time it takes up with a day, though.
Right.
From those
That's
normal working hours, it's like I've got these at the beginning of the day. I've got this list of things that has to be done, and then suddenly you're pulled in every other direction because you've got this big team now that just takes a lot of time to get everything aligned.
Right.
Make sure communication is good across the team. Make sure everything's getting delivered at the right times, and make sure all that's meshing. And then suddenly it's the end of the day, and you're like, oh man, I've still got this massive list I got to punch out by midnight so we can get to practice at 5:30 in the morning
Wow.
to test our tech. So it's a busy lifestyle, but I think we love it. So it's a good time.
That's cool.
Sure.
Not the 5:30 in the morning.
Not the 5:30 in the morning.
I will flat out say I do not love that.
I know, that's why I retired from swimming.
So our mentor, Mike Weckerly, the Dragon, would be remiss if we didn't ask, do you guys have any sales?
Yeah, actually,
Have
we're
you
just
sold any of these, or how's the
just
traction?
launching into our paid beta program. So we had over 200 paid users sign up for our paid beta program, which we're just launching out to now. We ended up limiting that program just because of limitations. We didn't want to spread ourselves too thin.
When you say 200 users, is that 200 coaches?
No, 200 total swimmers that are so through a
Gotcha.
few different contracts.
Yeah.
And then it was great. We sold out that program in under an hour at a coaching conference. So
Wow.
it was a pretty exciting time. And
Yeah.
we're actually just starting into a bigger pre-sales campaign leading up to our launch in September.
Are you going to do any kind of crowdfunding stuff, or
No, for us, because we sell B2B, at the end of the day, how many coaches do you think are actually on Kickstarter every
Right.
day? Not a lot. I mean, it's good. It's lucky if they check their emails once a week. So, because we're selling B2B and it's such a tightly knit community, we've got some interesting things we're doing on the sales side, like referral programs between coaches. Every coach knows each other, so they're generally pretty happy to introduce you to other coaches, and that much more if you're going to help them out. So
Sure.
So find some centers of influence and then
Exactly. Yeah.
I just wanted to kind of take us back through a little bit more of the actual story. So 'cause we've jumped around a bunch, but that's cool.
Yeah.
How how did the team grow? So we know May of 2014 there was at least the two of you.
Yep.
Was it only the two of you at that point, or was
Yeah,
it more
yeah. I
people
mean, we
in the
had like a few people we had on like short contracts here and there.
Okay.
Nobody full time until later 2014.
No, the first full-time hire was actually in 2015.
2015, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
the first
really?
week of
Yeah,
2015.
we're pretty picky with our hires, I think, in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the team kind of started to grow pretty fast once we got to a certain state where we realized, okay, we really need a person on this. And I'm like, now we really need a person on this role, and then it
Sure.
just starts to snowball from there.
Yeah.
I think I saw you guys at a talent collision event at Binghamton's here.
Okay,
where you
yeah.
were
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
pitching for attracting talent and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So,
that worked out actually quite well. We had
we,
a lot of
we did-
interest.
One of our top hires is from that.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
go to those recruiting events, people.
yeah, yeah. We're hiring.
So pretty much everybody now. You say you're up to 11 or 12 hires,
Yeah.
or all together. I guess the team that's
Yeah,
all
all
together, including you
together,
guys,
yeah,
right?
including
10
us.
hires maybe.
Yeah.
That's all been just within the last like 4 months.
Yeah,
more or
yeah.
less.
Since January, yeah.
Yeah, we had
Wow.
we had a few that we were lining up that we knew,
Like,
one
yeah,
of our
we had-
friends was coming back into town, and some conversations that had started quite a bit earlier,
Okay.
and we knew, okay, this come February we're going to need this role.
Right.
Come March we're going to need this role, and that process sometimes takes 3 to 6 months to find the right person.
Sure.
So generally, we started that before, but we knew that we'd need those bodies.
And are those roles that you're hiring now largely technical roles, or are they business roles?
Definitely largely, yeah.
I think it's there are a few key
Two-
technical
yeah.
roles that we're hiring for, and that's we're hiring for an algorithms expert / signal processing / firmware. So if you like researching cool ideas and ways we can get better with how we detect metrics through our sensors, that's really the position for you. And
It's a lot of slashing.
there's a lot of slashing. Yeah, definitely a lot of
we got a lot
slash.
of things. Yeah.
With the past the 144 tweet limit for the title itself, right?
Oh,
It's like-
But
That's it.
then the current team is definitely there's more technical people on the current team. I think we only have 2 people that are non-technical.
Yep.
Okay.
A sales and then a creative director who deals with user interface and graphics and branding, all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. And that's pretty rapid growth. Like that's pretty huge.
It's a very busy market, so we need to make sure that we hit the ground running and keep growing as fast as we can.
Yeah.
And what
of
is the
course.
competition out there? What does the landscape look like for you guys? I know there's
Yeah.
other sort of sports wearables.
Yep.
At Conestoga College, they just developed an app that you can put into a curling broom, for example.
Yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah, they had a lot of sort of progress with that, and then I'm not sure, but I think they ran up against some competition that somebody else was a big player that was doing
A
that.
big player
And
in
the
the
curling
curling metrics tracking.
Yes, guys,
Wow.
curling is huge. Not as big as disc golf, obviously, but
Yeah, obviously, or lawn bowling.
I've
Yeah.
never seen. I haven't spent a lot of time in the swimming sphere of
No,
things, but
yeah.
I haven't seen any other devices in that area. So I don't know. Do you?
No.
have you
I
seen
mean,
anything else?
there's like the general wearables market, which really addresses the general consumer. But ultimately, there's not a lot out there these days that focuses specifically on competitive athletes.
Right.
Specifically in swimming, there's only one competitor that we have, but they require you to install like a $20,000 system in the pool. Each athlete has to wear 5 units around their body.
Wow.
It costs some other large recurring number per month, and it's just they don't have a huge amount of traction because of that.
they have
Right.
to wear a concrete swimsuit.
Yeah.
Sure, that could cause a problem. I guess.
My parents always wanted me to wear one of those. I don't know why.
So then you guys are fairly fresh, and it's that's why it's go.
And that's
go.
why we got to go fast.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's a busy industry, and we got to move as fast as we can to get to the market as quickly as we can.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. You got to do it right, and you got to do it fast. So.
Absolutely. And so, where do things look like now? You said you've got some pre-sales in the can.
Yep.
Is this something that is exclusively going to be sold from your sales team direct to coaches? Is this a product we're going to see on the shelves in sporting stores or something?
No, for
Or-
now-
Am I going to go to the public pool and see Darren wearing one?
Never know. Yeah, I mean, like right now, we're focused very strictly on competitive swimming. So we want to make
Right.
sure we nail this one product before we try to push down to any sort of consumer product.
Okay.
Effectively, because we are B2B, we sell directly to those coaches and those teams. So it's an addressable number with a direct sales team.
So, and everything is going directly through your sales team.
Exactly.
itself,
So
right?
it's a benefit for us from the distribution side. We don't take a hit there, but we
Sure.
do have to build out that team and form those relationships.
Yeah.
But it is an achievable number of people to get to. But going to the consumer market would be a very different play, getting distribution and marketing and all that.
As a B2B business, is it a large enough market to make it ultimately worthwhile, do you think? Like,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Swimming's surprisingly large around the world, which is nice. There's over 3.6 million registered competitive swimmers around the world.
Okay.
So, at our value prop, it's at our revenue model, it's a very large market.
Okay, excellent. And is there any plans for a consumer level product for somebody who just wants to track their swimming better at some point?
Yeah, we've definitely been in talks. That's definitely on the table still. I think we're really focused on knocking off this one first product and then deciding what makes the most sense for us, whether it's to go into the consumer world or whether to go into other verticals and other sports.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking from a market size consideration, right? I mean, you're opening up higher multiples of possibility of revenue.
It's the low-hanging fruit. We want to make sure that we, and this is something that we're really targeted at, and it's a very different business plan than moving down to the consumer market.
Sure. But I'm guessing if you can kind of conquer the professional swimmers market and get all your testing and
exactly.
Early kind of development.
Who doesn't want what the national level athletes are using, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And if it's affordable, then absolutely.
Yeah. What is the pricing structure? You sell one sort of system to a coach, and
so
it's 20 or 50 or.
If you feel comfortable talking about that, I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's all right. Yeah, well, for our market product, we're selling our betas and our pre-sales at a discounted rate because of their early products.
Yeah.
But for our market product right now, we're selling them for $299 for the hardware,
right.
And then our user profiles are a recurring fee. We're setting up different tiers for different level athletes.
When you say $299 for hardware, what's included with that?
Basically, that's per hardware unit. So that's the individual hardware unit that each swimmer, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, and a separate cost for the
then there's that. Then the hub is included with the coach.
Okay.
Yeah. But then the swimmers have to have their own user profiles, which is a recurring fee on top of that. The idea being that the coach only needs to have a certain number of units that they can use on multiple athletes, but the user profiles are required for the use of the system.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. So what's the next stage then? Now that you've done your pre-sales, are you putting together units and just getting them out the door?
That's the goal. Is to get them out the door. So as I think we've been at it for a year. There's a lot we've learned through the process, and I think now it's just getting all the things we've learned and understanding them and building out this final product. So right now, what we're switching, this is getting techie, but we're switching platforms on the hardware itself, and adding a more powerful microcontroller onto it, and reducing the size and making the industrial design more attractive, and solving a few issues we were seeing from an ID perspective, and just adding more polish to the overall product as we try to launch for September. Because unlike software, you only get one shot at it before you get it. The iteration cycles aren't I can't send a patch after it's released you see on video games these days. I gotta it's iterative recall and bring it 6 months after that.
Yeah. And so you mentioned September. September is the big push.
That's the big
That's
day.
the big push. So we've got a lot on the go right now with our beta program going out the door, as well as getting our hardware, industrial design all ready for manufacturing, as well as certification, all that stuff. So we've got a busy summer ahead of us.
Exciting time.
It'll be an exciting time.
That's crazy. Yeah. Well, listen, before we wrap up,
let's do
the lightning round. we should give you guys a heads up too. We're trying to put together an official kind of lightning round intro, so you might hear a little more polished version of that. But until then, we have Steven's wonderful sound effects.
Spittle infused lightning bolt.
So the lightning round, we just throw a bunch of fast questions at you guys, usually about 10, maybe a bonus question at the end if you're lucky.
So how does this work? Do we just both blast it at the same time? Or?
We'd like you guys to buzz in, and then no, whatever you guys want.
Yeah, it's not as high pressure as we make it sound.
I'm starting to sweat.
Yeah. Do you want to trade off like we normally do, Steven?
Sure.
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
So this question, then I'm going to throw this one to Darius.
Sure.
Darius, you have the power to change one thing in the world. What do you change? And don't say light bulbs.
That's a tough one.
World peace.
And I'm also not very creative.
It's okay. Maybe one thing in your world.
One thing in my small world.
Just to bring it a little bit more.
Would be
reduce the scope.
This is specifically my problem, and that would be our landlords and getting them to add more parking spaces.
I love it.
This is a bane to our existence. Because right now we can't park ever.
Really?
So if you're listening, landlords, please help us out here.
Yeah, there's some extra. Get your landlords to listen to our podcast.
What is a landlord's name? We should just
call
him out, right?
His phone number if you want to bug him.
There you go.
These guys are trying to help swimmers cross the English Channel, and
they can't park.
They can't
cars,
park.
damn it.
At a house we rent out. Come on.
That's right. All right, here's my question. I'll throw this to both of you guys. Give one piece of advice for new startups in 5 words or less. The wheels are turning.
Like, there's so many cliches we could throw out. Yeah.
You could.
Grow fast or die.
Grow fast or die.
I like
That's
that one.
not
I
a
haven't
bad
heard that
one
one before.
You guys seem to follow that one.
Grobo didn't even use that one.
No, that's true.
Yeah. That would have been perfect for them.
Any ideas, Darius?
Just push.
Push. Wait,
you went over one.
Just,
No, I think that works.
That's part of it.
I think that works. No, that's good. Excellent. Okay, Steven.
So I'm
Number
paying
3.
for 3 top-notch employees tomorrow. Who are you hiring?
Well, what do you do? What are you hiring for?
That's my question to you. I'm
I
paying the bill.
I thought you were saying you're hiring.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yes,
I have
no, I'm
idea
paying.
what you need.
So you guys can hire whoever you want.
Yeah,
Bill
Steven,
Gates.
Steven will cover the costs.
Yeah.
Who
Bill
are you
Gates
guys
all the
gonna
way
get?
to Darren and myself.
Yeah.
Yes, I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who are you looking for?
Like right now, currently at TritonWear?
Or tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning?
Probably
Yeah.
the same.
So we're looking for, like I said, like the algorithm developer. We like if you have an interest in working with sensors and trying to understand the best ways we can optimize algorithms or find ways we can reduce some processing time, you're the guy.
Yep.
And give us a shout. We're also hiring other designers for the team. So if you have an interest in taking a product all the way from designing wireframes and have ideas and doing user research all the way to building out the user assets and putting it together for our dev team and working closely with our dev team, give us a shout. And then a third role.
Who knows? Maybe some more advanced machine learning type stuff that we might be getting into sometime in the near future.
Okay.
There's always some more advanced roles based on how we convert our data into our sensor data into performance metrics. So there's always a lot of work done on that side, and that's kind of the magic behind our
So
system.
you guys are really still development, really not sales or marketing yet.
Well, that's one team that we're building up, but we haven't had a lot of trouble in terms of finding the people for that. So I'm sure there will. Ask us in a couple of weeks. It's probably gonna be a different story. But
this is based purely on today's problem.
Today we need this.
We have a really cool, on our sales approach. Do you want to talk about who we're bringing on?
Yeah, for sure. So it's interesting. We're kind of defining our core sales team. We're going to be using former Olympic swimmers as our core sales team.
Oh, wow.
So we're
awesome.
bringing on these guys that have huge credibility in the sport, huge ambition. They're great at being coached. They have a huge drive.
And
they
huge pecs.
They just and huge pecs.
It's all about the pecs.
That's
Who's not going to sell to a guy with huge pecs? I'm just intimidating talking about it.
That is cool, actually. That's very cool.
But so that's cool play. Plus they got big connections in the sport. Love the tech. They just get it from day one. So that's one interesting value that we're pushing.
You can not call them salesmen, just call them deliverers.
The Olympians.
Yes.
So,
You have an Olympic sales team.
Yeah.
That would be great to
Yeah.
see.
So many things. Zeus would be blushing.
Yes, there you go. Okay, I think we're on question number 4, right? So the one I'm going to throw at you is fill in the blank. I'm secretly terrified of what?
Secretly, I'm completely open about my fear of spiders.
Spiders are scary. I understand that one. Yeah.
I can get deep on this one.
Keep going.
I'm secretly afraid
The
of
inherent lack of parking spots.
arriving home tonight and not having a place to
Turn
park.
around the corner. You're peeking.
I don't know. I think we're both very competitive and we hate losing. And I think that for me, it's always, I'm always afraid of losing or not winning, right? And that applies, I think, to everything you do. And we tackle that by being super obsessive and trying not to make it happen instead of like a more practical approach. We kind of consume ourselves with the activity and hammer it out.
And not lose.
And not lose. But
That's the solution.
Yeah.
I don't know how that scales, but that's what we're doing right now.
That works. Yeah. Steven, question number 5.
What's the biggest joy that you guys have sort of elicited from the startup journey that you've been on so far?
I think just solving very challenging, unique, cool problems. but also doing it in an application that's also, you know, kind of sexy and kind of cool. Like, I mean, it's awesome being able to, especially for me, because, you know, with my background as a swimmer, like being able to go out and talk to coaches about what we're doing, and them seeing it as black magic, and then us showing, you know, it actually does what we're saying. Like, you know, we calculate these metrics, and we do it without your swimmers even knowing it's happening. I mean, solving these cool problems, and even though, you know, obviously we work crazy hours, you know, but we love what we do. I think just the seeing the growth progression from day one to where it's gone to now has just been a really exciting ride.
Do you guys feel, and this is a follow-up question, do you guys feel like some pressure from the entrepreneurial society? I don't know, is that a society? To say that you work 20 hours a week?
No,
because we have that feedback a lot where people are like,
but we're not.
That was actually my next question. So my question was, how many hours a day do you guys work? There's question number 6.
Well, like I don't know if it's good or bad that we're saying that we work 20 hours a week.
Don't be proud of that.
I think we say it because, like, you know, there's definite grind to, like, there's a definite hustle that comes to being in a startup, and I think that's not just at the founder level. That's like with everybody involved.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people come to us and say they're really excited to work, but they don't really understand. Like when we articulate this feeling we have now, I think it's with the entire team that we brought on. Like, I think everyone is afraid of losing. Everyone's pushing. Everyone wants to get it out there, and that's kind of the mentality and team we want to build.
So fear drives you.
It's not fear. I think it's just
passion and just drive in general drives us. I think we want to get this product out the door. We just believe in this product so much that we want to deliver when we say we're going to deliver, and we don't want to miss deadlines.
Of course. No, it makes sense.
But I mean, and you know, we say we work 20 hours a day. It's not always on purpose. It's because, you know, we're hammering something out, and suddenly it's, you know, 1 a.m. We're like, oh crap, we got to get up in 4 hours to get to practice on time to test the tech. Just that swimmers train so damn early, we have no choice.
The whole 5 a.m. thing is not glamorous for sure.
But I guess when you jump in the cold water, it helps.
Oh, we don't
do that
jump.
anymore.
We don't jump. They don't allow us.
You just stand with the
These are
clipboard.
behind me.
Yeah, they won't let us take our t-shirts off.
You say it's embarrassing.
Back, always goes back to the pecs, Darren.
Yeah,
you see that?
We need bigger pecs.
That's true. And so it's back to you, Stephen, because you kind of asked my question for me. Go
Absolutely.
ahead. Yeah.
One piece of advice that you would give to young entrepreneurs that have an idea.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I'd say know what you're getting into. Like, you know, you have to have that passion and that drive. You know, the startup world can be very romanticized about how, you know, cool it is to be in a startup. But at the end of the day, it's a ton of hard work. You know, a lot of startups fail. It takes, you know, massive amounts of passion, massive amounts of drive. You know, there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs, and you got to know how to deal with that. And it's going to be stressful, and you got to love what you do. You've really got to believe in what you're doing, and not just do it because you want to do your own thing.
Yeah, I think having like an idea is like just the very, very, very beginning, and like what you do with that idea is completely different. You could take it to market yourself. There are other avenues of getting it out there and getting you compensated for it. So there are various aspects you can take, and it's really knowing who you are and what you want to do and what makes you happy.
So if you want to be the boss of it, if you want to sell it, if you want to run a team.
You know, working with a level of uncertainty that, you know, I'm not getting. When we started off, we weren't getting, we quit our high-paying jobs to come and do this for free, and it's definitely something you need to be able to be willing to take on that sort of risk profile, and that's the way you want to grow that business, you know.
And do it with a smile on your face. At the end of the day, like, you know, it could fail. Like, at the end of the day, you know, we, you know, could be out of a job in who knows how many months, right? But at the end of the day, you have to not let that stress you out. That can't worry you.
No.
If it does, it'll eat away at you every day. So you genuinely have to just love what you do and believe in what you do.
It seems like you found that magic between the swimming and the tech and the
exactly.
machining.
It's definitely that much better when you can tie it into multiple passions into one big product. It's definitely been good on that aspect.
Sure, that's awesome. My question number 8 is where is it now? What is one startup skill that you feel that you need to get better at?
Sleeping.
I guess it could be a skill.
The underrated skill.
I don't know. That's a really tough one. Like, what is a startup skill? Like, if you give us an example
something
of one.
that you actually need to succeed, a skill that is required for you guys to succeed in what you're doing. That you're like, you know, I want to improve in this, but because I don't feel like I'm quite at that level yet.
But I think that's so subjective.
It is.
It's so, it depends on, again, what startup you're doing and how you're doing it and what the idea
But
is.
for you personally?
For me personally, what's one thing I wish I had?
I wish I had the rule book or the entire design outline for our next product and our next product in my hands right now.
But that's not a skill, though.
It's skillful if you can steal from the future.
You just want the golden. You want the golden envelope.
Golden ticket, baby.
Yeah, you want to.
That's cool. The ability to visualize the final kind of product. Yeah, I think
me,
it could be a
it's-
skill. Yeah.
For me, it's probably patience.
Okay.
Especially in like a hardware startup where you can't iterate as quickly as you'd want to.
Right.
It is that's for me is extremely challenging because I'm not a patient person, and
You're waiting for the capacitors to arrive from China
It's
to
not,
do
yeah,
that.
it's not. Yeah, it's not even that. Like even with like everything, even in interpersonal issues or what have you, it's like you know, there's a certain level of patience required, and I'm getting better at that. But it's like it's definitely something that, you know, if things aren't going completely my way, it does frustrate me, and I do try to.
Sure.
You find that as soon as the team expands from 1 or 2 to 13, it's not just you doing it all the time.
Well, it's
right?
not. It's not even with the team per se. It's just like, you know, why can't we solve this problem right now? And sometimes
Right.
you just can't. You have to wait for a response from a supplier or somebody, right? It's just it's one of the things that having a lack of patience has accelerated us really fast, but it is still like
You don't want to burn people out.
yeah, well, it's still like
Yeah.
it's still like a thing we can't completely, like it's not completely dependent on us, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
All the problems in the world.
Absolutely.
For my big last question, guys, what one thing, and you guys can each give us an answer, what one thing would surprise us about you?
That's interesting. Actually, I got into competitive swimming through horseback riding, which we probably
That's
wouldn't
surprising.
get.
You're thrown from a horse and landed in a
landed in a
pond?
pool. I'm like, wow, this is really nice. It's quite enjoyable. No, I used to do what was called tetrathlon, which is similar to modern pentathlon, if you know what that is, which
Okay.
is kind of like triathlon, but you have running, shooting, swimming, horseback riding, and fencing. And then tetrathlon's everything but fencing.
Wow.
And so I actually got into it. I grew up on a horse farm. My family's big into equestrian stuff.
Yep.
And I was a useless swimmer. So I ended up going and training just to get a little bit better because I absolutely hated swimming.
Yeah.
And then I ended up joining a more competitive team and a club. Started to hammer it out 8-9 times a week, and then suddenly I fell in love with the sport, and then it just became my thing. So
That's mushrooms for me.
And you never got into the fencing side.
no, I was too dangerous with the sword.
Pentathlon.
I would have hurt myself. It's the biggest problem.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
What about you,
Yeah.
Darius? What would surprise us about you?
What would surprise us? I think it would be.
No, take the shirt off.
This right here, radio. You guys need to get like a video.
Body for radio.
Dear.
Beyond my obviously great body, it's.
Why would that surprise you?
It's believe it or not, this is an optical illusion you're looking at. Underneath this rotund T-shirt,
It's just a suit.
we cut and chiseled other T-shirts. No, so I think the thing that I'm really passionate about and people are surprised by is I really do like the visual arts.
Oh, okay.
And
Drawing,
sculptures
painting, sculpture.
yeah, sculpture is the most mostly. It used to be a passion throughout university, and working with artists and collaborating on getting hardware into sculpture. So I don't think they do the program at Waterloo anymore, but it was engineering. They'd mix teams of engineers and artists together, and they used to have these great sculptures that they used to release out to the public. And it's too bad they stopped it. They're doing it. It's now a leading program at OCAD that I get to help out with every now and then, and it's great. Yeah, go check it out, guys, if you ever.
That sounds very cool. That's
does sound
awesome.
neat.
My last question is: you guys get bought out by Google or whatever the swimwear equivalent of Google is? Yeah. What are you going to buy first with your payout?
England.
That's how much your
awesome.
product is going to be worth. Yes.
Awesome.
that we're expecting.
Sure.
Or Spain, because they do, 20 euros or so.
Maybe Greece.
They have better wine.
Just take our debt.
Yeah. First thing I buy.
Sure. Yeah. What do you think?
I'm not sure. It's hard to say.
A nice horse, perhaps?
Yeah, that's awesome.
A little pony.
A nice pony.
A diamond-encrusted Speedo.
Maybe,
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Yeah.
Buy my family a really big farm. That's what I
Okay.
do for
Oh, there
sure.
you go.
That'd be good too.
Yeah.
Darius, anything that
For
comes to mind?
me, it would be like...
You got to put something in England now.
Yeah, now something in England, yeah. I would probably actually, to be honest, it would probably be. Did we get to leave once we're bought out? Do I have to go and work at Google?
No, you don't have to work.
I can do whatever I want.
You're
right?
just taking the cash. Yeah.
Well, it would be. I'd definitely go traveling for 2 years with my friends and family.
That's what I meant.
But like traveling, but not like backpack traveling. I mean, like like really bougie 5-star traveling where you get to do like.
Where I buy an island every time I land.
Too old to backpack.
The kind of traveling where you get no street cred whatsoever, but you get the best room service.
It's like,
ever.
I went backpacking. Well, we just rented out this 5-star hotel wherever. That would be like dream vacation.
Dry cleaning? I'm buying new clothes
just
today.
Just go to H&M and buy it.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Okay, well, the bonus question for you guys is toilet paper, fold or scrunch?
Fold for sure.
All
Just
right.
makes sense.
Yeah, we got one fold.
I'm a scrunch.
Really?
Yeah.
A folder and a scruncher.
Yeah. Maybe that's why we work well so well together.
I think
like
it could
complementary
be.
skill set.
That should be a number one question now. Like fold or
That's a new
scrunch.
interview question. Be prepared if you're coming in for.
That's right.
Have an opinion on this, please.
It's important. It
You
really
should
is
add
important.
it to your HR process.
Yeah, I have a
That's
good answer
perfect.
to this.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Excellent. Well, that's great, guys. Well, before we say our goodbyes here, where can we find you? You have a website? You have some social media stuff?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
lurk at all the local pools to find you
yeah,
early.
sure.
Get there early.
Yeah. If you're in the KW area, you'll likely see us at the pools. So, no, but check us out at TritonWear.com. Look around Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TritonWear. I think we're the only ones. TritonWear, there's no space in between, so it's one big word.
Okay, that's awesome. And we'll put some links up to those places so people can find you when we post the podcast. Excellent. Now, let me think. Is there anything we forgot to say? Oh, we should mention for everybody that...
We're doing a change-up.
Yes, this is the last Monday recorded episode. We typically record on Mondays and post on Tuesday mornings. We have some schedule changes that are coming down the pipe, just because Stephen and I have lives outside of the podcast.
Yep.
So, you know how it goes. So we're going to be recording moving forward now on Thursdays and posting on Fridays. And just to kind of ease our wonderful devoted listeners into that change up, we have a special episode that we're going to post this
Super
coming
special.
Friday morning. Yep.
Really yummy.
It's a whole bunch of material that we've recorded during our sound check process. We usually ask people what they had for breakfast, so we're going to call it the breakfast episode. There will be some material in the mix that's not only breakfasty stuff but from those sound checks, because we got a lot of nice little funny nuggets and stuff we thought we'd throw at you from that process. But anyway, so
that's what you get from us, funny breakfast nuggets.
it's true. If you've ever wondered, like, what do these people eat for breakfast?
What fuels an entrepreneur?
Exactly. Then you'll find out. Listen for that coming up this coming Friday. That's of course if I actually have the time to go through every single past episode and get all that material together by then. But
You're going to be starving when you're done.
Yeah.
So get ready for a big lunch.
I'm going to have my big bowl of mini wheats beside me while I do it, just to get in the mood or something. So anyway, so listen for that coming up. But anyway, let's wrap things up for today. First of all, we want to thank our guests, Darius Guy and Tristan Lehari from TritonWear, for coming on our show. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
That's awesome. We want to also thank the Velocity Foundry for letting us record here today. And thank you, our listeners, for joining us on another episode of TSP Weekly. Please feel free to send us your comments, your questions, your criticism, your feedback at feedback@tspweekly.com. That's our email address. Or you can drop us a message on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is TSP Weekly. Or at TSP Weekly, I guess. You got to put that little symbol in there.
Yep.
So from myself, Darren Conley, my co-host Stephen Campbell.
What's up?
And our guests, Darius and Tristan from TritonWear. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you all next week. We'll see you for the
see you on
breakfast
Thursday.
episode. And we'll see you with a new guest in a week and a half.
Be awesome.
All right. Take care, guys.